What up, Dealer Talk family? Let's build some lead generating ads. All right. If you're currently not leveraging the power of Facebook to generate some leads for your dealership, stay tuned because I'm about to show you how. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to show you is a strategy for you to test, right? To test with what's called cold audiences. Obviously, you can get really intricate here with the Facebook pixel, retargeting customers and things of that nature, which is going to make lead generating campaigns way more effective. But this will at least give you an opportunity to test, to just kind of if you're not currently doing this, to maybe make some inroads and start working internally within your dealership to try to generate some leads and use this platform to connect with buyers. Now, obviously, I highly suggest it if you're not doing this already, or if you don't have the personnel or the know-how, connect with an expert, somebody that can help you create strategies that are going to be a lot more effective. Again, hopefully this helps you to get going, to see some results so that you can, just kind of see the power of the platform and start to invest more into it. All right, so before you create anything, right, the first thing that I would recommend you do is do some research, right? This is a very good resource, the Facebook Ads Library, because it allows you to do two things. Number one, do some research against your competitors, see if they're using Facebook, see what they have out there, right? So that's just good information to have. And number two, you can use it as a way to get some inspiration, right? See what other dealerships are doing, and emulate or copy it. If it's something that you think that is relevant and applicable within your current objectives. So here we can see, and just to kind of reference really quick, so these carousel ads are the ones that I prefer doing. I mean, there's different types. You can do just long form ads with a picture. You could do these video slideshow type ads, and you're going to get different opinions, right? I personally see for car dealerships, carousel ads just work the best. Plus, carousel ads allow you to, if you're focusing on one particular vehicle, you can show multiple photos of that vehicle. But what I really like about the carousel ads is that you can drive customers to the VDP. Okay, so now once you've done your research, you have some ideas of what you want to put out there. Now it's time to build the ads. So go into Create. And I have three different segments, right? So campaign, ad set, and then the ad itself. So campaign is where you kind of set the objective and what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your ad. The ad set is all about the audience, the placement, and then how much budget you're allocating towards it. And then finally, the ad itself is the format, right? Like, what are you using? What is a creative going to look like? Things of that nature. So we're not going to get into the specifics. There's tons of videos on how to build ads and that sort of thing on YouTube. If you're trying to learn that, I suggest that you go there and just check it out. For the purpose of what I'm sharing with you guys in this particular video, we're just going to go here to where it says lead generation, and that's going to be our main objective. Always name your campaigns, right? Name the campaign, name the ad set, name the ad itself. So lead generation is going to be, or the campaign, excuse me, is going to be, we're going to do lead generation February test. Right. Again, remember that this particular strategy that I'm showing with you right now is high level. This is to just really kind of test out the waters. We're going to keep this real close to the dealership. We're going to keep this broad so that we can reach as many people as possible. But again, you can get really intricate with this. There's many different ways that you can set this up. I like to do daily budgets. Right. It's just, in my opinion, it's more effective to do it that way. But this all depends, right? That's why, Facebook is all about testing. You got to test a lot, collect data, collect information, see what works, see what doesn't work. And then you can really create strategies that are going to maximize, not just the spend and the budget, but they're just going to be more efficient, and they're going to allow you to connect with the people that you're trying to connect to. So just to kind of kick things off, I would start with $5, you know, $5 a day. But obviously that can vary depending on the size of your market and things of that nature. So, okay, we got the lead generation. We got the name for the campaign. We set our daily budget. The other thing too, sometimes this Facebook is going to tell you, hey, in order for you to get leads, you know, we recommend you spend X, or you know what I mean? So, you know, start looking at that. Okay, so now when you get into the ad set, so this is what I would focus on. The ad set name would be the audience and the strategy, right? So let's call this lead generation Las Vegas February test. Right, that way you know it's a lead generation. You're targeting the Las Vegas market. It was for the month of February, and you're testing it out. Right, you're just trying to collect data, hopefully generate some leads in the process, and just kind of collect some information. So once you have that, I always like to go into here. It says audience sizes. You can see, you know, you can look at how the potential reach. Like obviously this is way broad, right? So we're going to have to make some tweaks to the audience to make this a little bit more feasible. Obviously, it would cost you tons of money to be effective with this big of an audience. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go into location, and let's narrow that down to Las Vegas. So as we can see, we just brought that down significantly to 1.6 million. And then I would try to narrow this down even further. And let's go to 30. And let's just kind of see. So I pay attention to this as well. So one of the things that you could do here is, you know, go back to the campaign and look at budgets. So maybe 5 is not enough for the Las Vegas market. Let's do 25 and see what that looks like. All right, so this is better, right? So 25 a day, we're looking at about an average of 14 to 16 leads. You know, at $25 a day, you can measure it, you know, and kind of see what the response you're getting. You know what I mean, and then adjust from there. But I feel a little bit more comfortable with this reach and this potential, you know, lead estimated lead count, if you will. Okay, so there is going to be some conflicting information when we look at this, you know, especially the detailed targeting, right? So there's a lot of talk out there, or not talk, I don't want to say that. There's a lot of different opinions on how do we utilize how specific the Facebook data is in order to create audiences that we're targeting, or that are targeted, excuse me. So I tend to stay away from specific audiences when it comes to car dealerships, just because I've noticed that when we target specific in-market buyers, or we're looking at people that have been on Auto Trader, or that have been on your website, things of that nature, not that have been on your website as far as generating leads, but, you know, in-market shoppers that have potentially gone to your website, then what happens is we're talking to people that that are already in market, right? They're already doing research. And so those are the deals that you're going to lose money on, that you're going to haggle and do all these things. And if you keep a broad enough audience, you're going to hit customers that are not in market, right? And that's the beauty of Facebook, right? Remember, customers are not here to buy a car. So if you have an ad out there that causes a click, that causes an interest that you can capitalize on, then you have the potential to actually generate a sale that wasn't going to be in market to begin with. And that's where today it still makes sense to do that because the platform in itself is so cheap, right? I don't think that this is going to be the case forever. I think we maybe have just a couple more years until this completely changes. But for now, it just makes sense to leave it broad and try to get in as front as many people as possible, right? And I mean, again, at $25 a day to get 4 to 16 leads, if you raise that lead, that daily budget, then you can get in front of more people, and that's going to make your cost per lead a lot more efficient. So, okay, so. So that's, again, keep in mind, you can get really intricate with this, and there is cases and scenarios where excluding people and adding interest and things of that nature can be very advantageous. But for the purpose of this particular example, I would suggest that you leave it broad and start there. So now we're going to go into, let's say, okay, so we got the ad. This is going to be used inventory, lead generation, Las Vegas, February test. Notice how I get more specific as we go down, and the reason I do that is because I want to be able to identify this. If you're doing Facebook correctly, you should have multiple campaigns running at any given time, and so the more you add names to each of these 3 different segments, the better it's going to be for you in order to identify and then obviously measure and track. Remember, what we don't measure, we don't manage. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the results and not just set money into it and forget about it, because that's when things don't work and it doesn't, and then you don't see the return on your investment. Okay, so as I showed you earlier, you could do a single image slideshow type deal. Not a fan of those. Not a fan of the long form one picture type of post. I just don't see a lot of engagement when it comes to car dealerships. So the format that I prefer, that I see working the best, are carousel ads. And so I'm going to select that. And then you can put multiple photos on here. Like I would suggest doing 10. 10 photos seems to be a really good conversion and engagement. And then what I really like about the carousel ads is that you can drive them straight to the VDP. So for example, let's just, oops, we don't want to do that. Let's just hit remove. So here's how you can add more. You can do obviously 4, 5, and so on and so forth, and you can add up to 10 or more. But again, 10 would be my magic number, so to speak. That's what I seen to just work the best. But we're not going to get into that because I'm just, again, this is just to show you how to do it. And then we can go in here. Oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. So we want to go in here, select image, and then we're going to upload, continue. The one thing you want to make sure is that you're formatted correctly, right? You want to make sure that you have images that are 1-to-1. Having a 1-to-1 ratio is going to allow you to just have better placement, right? Because now you can go into stories and things of that nature. So if you're using these widescreen type of images, then it's going to limit your placement. And you can crop them using this feature here, but it doesn't tend to, it's not going to work well on the inventory. It's going to chop that inventory in half typically. And so you want to make sure that you adjust those photos to a 1-to-1 or perfect square ratio. You're just going to have a better engagement, more visibility, and things like that. Okay, so headline, I don't know, I'll leave this part up to you. Like, check out our amazing deals, right? I mean, obviously you want to get a little bit more intricate than that. I don't know. Awesome inventory, great price. Obviously, again, you want to be a little bit more descriptive and spend some time doing that. Again, this is where using this resource can really help you you know, kind of get some ideas for the sake of expediency and trying to make this as quickly as possible. We'll not spend a whole lot of time here. Change in season specials, right? So something like that. And then for the call to action, I always like to invite people to learn more, right? I feel like this one's a little bit more inviting. It's less aggressive, right? You know, so, I mean, obviously you can tweak that, but I would, you know, learn more seems subtle enough. And I just, again, just based on all the ads that I've done in the past, I just see something like this just have a little bit better conversion. This is where Facebook really, really shines. So I keep this simple. I like to keep I like to make this a 3-click process, right? So we'll go into intro, you know, put a headline in here like get additional information. You know, typically what I like to do here is to put some bullet points on some of the features of the vehicle. So if it's a, you know, personalized stuff, right? So actually, we'll do this. You know, clean Carfax. Oops. Carfax like this, right? I believe. One owner, recently detailed, right? Just some quick things that you can add here just to, you know, talk about this, the differentiators of that inventory. Again, remember the mindset, right? Customers aren't here looking for a car. So anything that you can do to enhance the offering is just going to work to your advantage. So I typically add just one more question, which is going to be phone, right? So contact information, phone number. So I like to limit this to email, full name, and phone number. Some dealers want address, you know, for obviously just to collect more information. But I notice that when I add more than these 3 questions, the conversion on the leads goes down. So email, full name, and phone number. I still feel like that's a CRM win in today's digital world. And it's easy for the customers to stomach, right? They don't have to fill out, you know, because remember, that's the one thing that customers, potential buyers don't want to do. They don't want to fill out forms. Now, this is where Facebook, again, really, really shines because they have all this data, right? So what happens is in a lot of the cases, it auto-populates that information. Now, sometimes it's not correct, and you know, that's fine, but a lot of the times it is, and then that makes this really, really simple for potential buyers, right? They don't have to fill anything out. It's already in there. They just have to click, right? So they go from intro to the questions. It's already populated. Yep, that's me. Next. And then from there, it takes them to privacy policy, which I highly, highly suggest that you do. As a matter of fact, I believe that you won't be able to get this ad approved until you've completed this step. So just make sure that you're covered and that you have that in there. And then it takes them to the thank you screen, and now it's done, right? Now from here, you can invite them to visit the website and route them back to look at more inventory. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what I wanted to show you as far as generating leads using Facebook. Again, this is high level. You can definitely get more intricate and more detailed if you choose to do that, which is obviously going to improve the results. But this is a great way to kind of get some inroads into you know, just generating some leads for your dealership using the power of Facebook or leveraging the power of Facebook to do so. Remember, the one thing that's really, really important is speed, right? So, and you've heard me say that again, and you'll probably hear me say it multiple times as I continue to kind of put these pieces of content together. So the quicker you respond to these potential buyers, the higher the probability of converting. Remember, the customers aren't there looking to buy a vehicle, and so you want to capture that interest immediately. The quickest you can do that, the better off you're going to be. All right, so there you have it, folks. That's how you can leverage the power of Facebook in order to build lead generating ads. A couple things to remember. Number one, make sure to hook up your CRM to these efforts. Remember, what you don't measure, you don't manage. So you want to make sure that you're able to track and adjust. The most effective Facebook strategy is to be constantly experimenting, see what works, what doesn't work. And then once you find something that generates results, just keep doing it and keep doing it, right? The next thing is speed, right? How quickly you can connect with that potential buyer is going to determine the conversion success. Remember, customers are not, or potential buyers are not on Facebook looking for cars. So if you can generate a click, if you can generate a lead, then you want to make sure to connect with that potential buyer immediately so that you can capture that interest. The longer it takes you to respond, the likelihood of closing that deal is going to go significantly down, right? And then the last thing is remember the power of what you're doing here, right? Those customers are not in market, especially if you follow this setup that I showed you in this video. If you target those broad audiences, you're going to be hitting a lot of customers that are not in market shoppers. And if you can convert those customers to a potential sale or to an actual sale, then that means you're generating true new sale opportunities for your dealership. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for checking this out. I really appreciate it. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, feel free to reach out. That's all I have for today. And as usual, we'll talk later.